they need to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for, I want to spend, give me 1 year. I mean, give me 12 months. At least we are seeing some things that we can debate here.
Yeah.
And if a government is good, it's our response to also tell Nigerians so
That's
that others can learn from them.
This is a far cry from the shoddy way of, a far cry from going the way of palliatives and all that, making a mess of things.
Yeah, that is true. We must actually commend Governor Peter Mba for what he's doing. Many times the focus has always been on federal government. When the president announced the wage award for civil servants, it was for federal civil servants. Now, I remember, I think I told Labour then that, look, Labour should not only focus on the federal government. Labour should be able to set up units, monitoring units, but maybe even its chapters in different states. They should be able to monitor what the state governments are actually doing. Now, for Mr. Governor Peter Mba, he has done well, and this is going to last till April. He's doing this pending the time that the new minimum wage will be agreed upon, what the new minimum wage will be, and when it will be factored or when it will be included in the next year's budget. I must say kudos to him. I also believe that he will also find a way to improve on the IGR of his state so that workers and members or citizens in that state will be able to benefit more from government. Because if you look at it, in the first quarter, Enugu State has not been able to even realize up to 15% of its projected IGR for the year. But I just hope that the government will be able to find resources, to meet the needs of the people. Then it's a challenge to so many other states.
Yeah.
That are not doing anything. We don't know what. Yes, there are a few states have been very proactive. Okay, maybe reactive, some of them. But the truth is,
we need more proactive.
We need more proactive. Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's commend Governor Peter Mba.
Let me quickly rub it in. I hear in the area of security is doing very well. That the sit-at-home order, more like has disappeared in Enugu.
Yes, you see, the truth of the matter is, when you have, many times governors will just, or we make excuses for governors, say that, okay, they are not in control of the security apparatus of their state, so they don't have, but governors who are very innovative, governors who are, who know what they are doing, can also manage their situation. We must give kudos to God. It looks to me like someone who is going to do well. He should keep up the tempo. Of course, we are also watching. When he does wrong, we will criticize.
Yeah. Okay, so Enugu State, we wish you very, very well. Now to our next story. Freewheeling bandits continue their infamous reign of terror in Kaduna State. In the latest account, the district head of Kujama in Chukun, local government area of the state, came to light. The brigands came on motorcycles, picked up Stephen Ibrahim, that's the district head, and 5 others on Sunday evening. A couple of mobile policemen were injured in the process. While you are wondering when we would say good night, kiss banditry, the longest good night.
It's a very unfortunate development once again. And if you read the newspapers, I don't think any week can pass, or at least no month will pass without one incident of violence, in Kaduna State. Kaduna used to be the, headquarters of the entire northern Nigeria.
Yeah.
The bride, of northern heritage. And if you look at Kaduna, it has the largest military formations, defense formations, NDA, Air Force, everything. Yet, this crime is taking place in Kaduna. I think a little problem that should not have grown out of hand was not nipped in the bud. We left it to, develop over the years. And it has now taken so many dimensions. Ethnic dimension, revenge killing, reprisal killing, arms race, people competing for arms, And I believe that if we are, what has just happened this week is because it's coming at the time that the governor is just planning to resettle 15 displaced communities who are displaced since 2017. He has made an arrangement to take them back to their ancestral homes, and now this has come up
this
again.
one, yeah.
You see, if we should not pretend as if we don't understand the layers, the dialectics of the problem. Before you have an attack in a community, there is usually the level of conception. 3 phases. The phase of conception, people will sit down together to, then the stage of planning, and then the stage of execution. So at these three phases, the government should be able to have enough intelligence at least to detect one of them.
That's it.
That is why the European countries are better. When you are conceiving a crime, you cannot conceive it alone. First, you have dialogue with your mind. Then you have dialogue with third parties. It involves communication, either through telephone or coming together and speaking and planning. Then the level of planning, the target area is about maybe 15 kilometers away. You first of all send spies there. They go there to do reconnaissance. They look at the target. Somebody will be there to identify when the target will be around, maybe 10 p.m. You will phone them. This person is around now. Our target is around. Is sleeping. You can now start coming. Most of the time when they are coming, they move kilometers, like from Osogbo to Lagos. You know what that means? That's almost about 3, 4, 5 hours. Nobody sees them. Sometimes when they are coming on bicycle, 50 bicycles, and moving, and then the level of execution of that crime. When they execute this crime, they go back again in large numbers sometimes, armed. So it means that it involves some footmen who execute this plan, trainers. These are civilians now handling weapons. Some people must have trained them. It's not just something you just plan in a day. Yeah. Then there are sponsors. AK-47 now should be about 2 million naira one. So if 10 people are carrying AK-47, that is about 20 million naira. So it's not a game for ordinary people. There are people who are providing funds for this crime.
Are you in any way thinking the way of some folks who had suggested that there might be fifth columnists in the...
Of course, because if they can drive, let's say, from here to, to let's say from Oron to, to Uyo, and no security, with all the security checkpoints, then it tells you the level of internal collaboration, among some, security officials who are giving them information, who are also giving them protection. So we need to tackle these problems, because in the age of drones, where drones can take surveillance over a very large area. Yeah. And then when you go to military posts, there's a place they call listening post in the night. In the day, they call it watching post. You can, with binoculars, you can see far distance. If some people are coming to attack you, in the night, you can also use night vision binoculars to see people coming from distance. So all these communities that are being attacked every day, Buhari, it happens almost all the time, and then we are sitting there, we are not trying to, devise a means to tackle this problem. So I think it shows completely, failure of, our intelligence operative system. And I believe that we have to, admit that we are not doing the right things. And no matter what Kaduna State government achieves, if the problem of security continues, it's going to rub in, it's going to negatively affect whatever achievements that the government may.
And I expected the NSA and the security chiefs would deploy everything in their arsenal.
Yeah, I hope.
Because it's possible to call the bluff
it is possible. Guys. And one of the things we need to do is to, we have to demystify the federal government. The state needs to take responsibilities. You can't be giving instructions to people all over the 776 local government.
All right.
State needs to.
Wale, we must go on a commercial break. We will take that break now and return. Please stay with us. Don't go just yet.
It's like every other year, my wife wants to paint, and our own kind of budget just makes me want to faint. 50 buckets of paint? Make it make sense. I'm only dropping cheddar if it's using Santex.
Santex? Yes, Santex. The amazing durability is more than mere text. Rich quality paint within your budget. So make the smart choice. Paint with Santex.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong
With a smart choice.
Santex paint.
Santex paint.
Smart choice.
Paint your dreams on the walls of your reality. Buy Santex Paint products from October to December 2023 and win amazing prizes. Offers available at authorized Santex Paint stores across Nigeria. Santex Paint, the smart choice.
Like many things in life, making great music is a process. And a key part of that is the right data and the data that helps you understand what needs to be done and how to do it and what sound will connect with listeners.
Bring it up. Let's go right away, too.
Whatever aspect of life you're into, enjoy the journey. 9 Mobile's got you covered.
Dial *301# now.
9 Mobile. You're heading home from work. In the busy traffic, your car breaks down. Car horns blast. Your car is pushed aside. You call for help. Phone battery blinks and dies. You take a cab. Few miles, tire bursts. What a day. Frustrated, sweating, and tired. Nearing home, darkness envelops the street. Wow! Just one house is bubbling with life. Brilliant lights, loud music, smiling wife, all welcome you.
We alone have light.
Yes, it's JRB Solar Energy Systems, my anniversary present to us.
No matter how dark life is, the sun is gonna shine on everything you do. JRB solar inverters, batteries, solar panels, solar street lights and more. Telephone 0906 752 1111. Email sales@jrbsolar.com. JRB, the sun is gonna shine on everything.
All right, folks, welcome back. Paul, in the 21st century, deploying technology to fight brigandage and, cultists, these guys we're talking about, is not out of the question.
Well, it is not out of the question, but beyond that, I still need to emphasize the place of intelligence. It's like what it was reading my mind. And there is no way you can also have proper gathering of intelligence if you don't mix with the population. If the population, if the residents of a particular community do not trust you, they don't trust the police or the military.
But the intelligence community knows how it does its work.
Well, it knows how it does its work, but the truth of the matter is that intelligence, we are still failing there in that area because a lot of, and where you even have intelligence, sometimes it's neglected. But we need to improve on the way we and our intelligence gathering. I'm saying this because, we've said it here before that, I think we said it some time ago that Boko Haram even would give soft loans to residents of certain areas. So people now trusted Boko Haram more than. It's the people who are, these bandits are not ghosts. They are human beings. They go to the market, they also patronize traders in the market. They go to the market, they eat too, right? They buy things, they buy clothes too. So the truth of the matter is, there must be a way of building the trust of the communities such that they can give information to the police or the military.
Quickly brings to mind community policing.
Community policing. Now, I'm going to talk about community policing. Then two, we also know that Nigeria is under-policed. We need to, I don't know why it's so difficult for us to talk about, to bring about state policing. We're just under-policed. And of course, you can't, for example, bring a Tunde, a Lagos boy, somebody who has been living, a policeman, Tunde, who lives in Lagos, who lives in Southwest, and then you post him to a place like Buhari, he can't speak Hausa. do you think they will trust him? But when you get a son of the soil, you know, who lives there, homegrown, you know,
and language is
the language. Even practices the dominant religion in that place, goes to the same mosque as those people. You are likely to get more results. You don't send an Emeka to Sambisa forest or something and expect that people will just suddenly fall in love with him and they trust him and they give him information. So that's the truth. So we need to talk about that. You see, the way we are we are going about this thing, it's like we are becoming impervious to the development. And
more than that we are enjoying the show.
That's what
show of shame.
That's what I'm saying, because this was the bane of Jonathan government. This is what also defined Buhari government. Whatever achievements the Buhari administration thought it made, you know, those achievements were rubbished by the incessant terror attacks, banditry, and all of that. Now, it's already happening. We keep changing service chiefs, NSAs, situation remains the same. You can't be doing the same thing the same way and expect a different result.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just feel that we think of these deaths as statistics, numbers, you know. Bandits attacked a community, 10 people were killed. 10 people.
It's like watching a crazy film.
I'm telling you, those 10 people, for God's sake, were parents, brothers, sisters, children, uncles, to people who, some of the people that lost them may never ever recover from the loss in their lifetime.
Paul, we must go to our next story. But then our big job here, Wale, you must agree, is to mold opinion.
Yeah.
So decision takers would pick something from it. All right, let's talk inflation. A cynic once said that inflation is more like toothpaste. Once it gets out of the tube, you hardly can get it back again, you know. So the street slang in Nigeria is that when things go up, they hardly come down. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, Nigeria has recorded a 10 consecutive rise in inflation to a new high of 27.33% for the month of October. Further rises are predicted for the months ahead. Now, the NBS reveals that a rise in food inflation was caused by increases in prices of bread and cereals. Wale, are we not in trouble here?
I think, if you ask me,
I'm asking you.
This is the most serious problem that we face today, because the Yoruba people will say, "Eni bimpa go asu," and every man does not listen to sermons. No matter your budget, ritual, we want to invest this. An angry man is also...
Wale, and also, hunger, not the hear prayer.
Yes. An angry man is a hungry man. And an hungry man can be a violent man. He can resort to violence in order to express his anger. You see, food is, of all the things in life, food is the most essential. Food has a lot of correlation with our the functioning of our memory, our emotions, our capacity to think, our learning processes. So the danger is that if people don't have access to food, malnutrition will set in, especially for children, infertility, you know, death. So we need to realize that this is the most important problem that we are facing. And the reality is that prices of foodstuff is just going up as if it will never come down. And people...
A loaf of bread, 1,000 naira?
Everything is almost every week is going up. Well, for me, I think people are blaming dollar and all that, but there are some fundamental problems that we need to address. Nigerians are no longer interested in farming for so many reasons. And that is affecting food production. It's affecting the livelihood of local communities.
Yeah.
And if you look at the history of this country, there was a time, I think in 1976, because where culture is absent, a striking example is necessary. In our history, there was a time that was drought in the Sahel in 1976. And then there was oil boom. People started moving from local areas to urban areas, abandoning agriculture. The government at that time introduced Operation Feed the Nation. I was in secondary school. It was a kind of thinking out of the box, not a handout from IMF and so forth. They just said, look, let's ask secondary schools to go into farming. Every secondary school, every community, they were using helicopters to, for pesticides, fertilizers. Then there was Nigerian Agricultural Cooperative Bank that was giving out loans. As a student in secondary school, I had a farm. We were about 1,000. Every child had a farm.
You remind me of Mayflower School.
Yeah. At that time, secondary school started going into bakery. Some were going into poultry. And between 1976 and 1977, there was a boom in agricultural production. So we need something radical. And I also remember that when Shagari came, he launched the Green Revolution.
Yeah.
Since and then I think during the time of Idi Agbanko, they also launched something similar like Back to Farm. At that time, Rivers became the highest exporter of producer of pineapple and then exporting to other countries. So we need a radical intervention.
That's it.
People can no longer they don't farm any longer. Everybody wants either to ride Okada or to go into politics. So unless if our communities can go into farming in the next 1 year, you are going to see significant improvement in production. What is happening now is that supply is not enough and demand is higher. So we are not producing tomatoes, we are not producing onions, and then people. So you see that just 4 onions, they tell you is I think about 1,000 naira.
No. So, have you tried tomatoes?
Tomatoes. So where are we going? These are things that were not imported from UK, not imported from Europe. Things that you can just throw on the ground and just don't even feed it. Just throw it. Let's say that just leave it there. It's going to grow on its own, and we cannot produce them. So the government needs a radical intervention, and that's why when the government gave some 2 billion each to each state, I felt they should have used substantial aspect of that funds, put it into agriculture. Unless our people start going back to farm, no miracle will happen unless there's a radical intervention.
Paul, are you not scandalized as we sit here that the plantain fingers are forced to ripe against natural process? I hear they pour carbide and all sorts of things to make them ripe. And this is not healthy.
It's not. So many things are not healthy. And that's what happens in a chaotic situation like ours. Now, I think that I read what the CBN spokesperson said, and I was just like, what's this man saying? Now, actually, if you look at the report, the MBS report, there is a year-on-year increase in our inflation rate, but month over month, there is a decrease in the percentage of increase. If you compare, what I mean is that it increases at a slower rate. That is, the inflation rate is increasing at a slower rate now. I hope you understand what I'm saying. That's on monthly basis. And based on that, the CBN spokesman said, well, talk as if it's good news. That maybe soon policies, or the monetary policy of the CBN in the long run will bring some stability and all of that. And there are people that disagree that this might continue. No, the point for me is when people sit down and speak economic jargons that have no relevance to the common man is not interested in your elevated terms, and all of that. They want life.
Results.
They want results, exactly. They want life to be different for them. My long deceased stepmother used to sing this word, says, that is, Lagos is tough for. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, just a minute. We have an Elizabeth reaching us from Lagos. Elizabeth, good evening to you. Welcome. Okay. Thank you for the intervention.
Okay. So I was going to
Eko Odun.
Fenity.
Lagos is not sweet for the man without a
for the man without for the poor
Yes.
and for the jobless. But I'm saying that Lagos is not even tough for the man who has job, because what it means when you
eating demands.
Exactly. The truth of the matter is when the inflation rate increases, when prices of food commodities, increase, the people's purchasing power is reduced. People become poorer. I mean, it's very simple. If I bought this thing for 10 naira yesterday and it's now 12 naira and my income has not increased, it means I'm poorer.
No wonder it is said that the most critical time in matrimony is breakfast time.
It's true now.
Crazy.
Yes, you're exactly.
So when you manage to have a meal in the AM, Wale, you are wondering how many homes can afford it.
Yeah, and yeah. On the street, you see, we can feel it. You see adults, able-bodied women, some with their children strapped on their back, begging for food just to eat. So, when I see this kind of, it's very painful that people they can't feed. Even the birds, in the sky, they are not hungry with the little brain that they have. Not to talk of the human being with all the abundance of creative energy. We cannot feed ourselves.
Wale and Paul, have you noticed that eggs are no longer big?
Yeah.
They say because we know they feed far well. Have you heard that?
So there's no justification for us not to be able to feed ourselves. Okay. Look at China, Singapore, the land is there. It's just for us to, you can't point to a state government to say.
I remember briefly when we had the mad cow disease, if you remember, in early 2000. Now, the cure for that was cassava. And Abia State, led at the time by Oji Uzor Kalu, exported cassava and they used it.
So
it's possible.
Yeah. In this same country, we had,
sorry, we have and Usman reaching us from Lokoja in Kogi State. Usman, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Yeah, welcome.
I would like to comment on the first topic discussed and this previous topic.
Go on.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go on.
So regards to the food inflation in Nigeria, just like your audience said, it's a problem where the leaders of each state, most especially the governors, they have the power to allow the government systems to work. Because these are the closest arms of government that has to do with agriculture. When we talk about agriculture in Nigeria, we must look at the people in the rural area. And those people in the rural area, if you look at the system in which people farming now, you cannot farm without having money. And the only way that if those people will get support from government is by government intervention. And the local government are not working. And there is no any state where local government are allowed to function.
All right.
When they share that money of intervention on fuel subsidy, this money is supposed to be given to local government directly, so that the people.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, folks. All right. At this point, we feel like making some money, so we'll go for another commercial break. Yeah. We would be back after this break. Please stay. Don't go away just yet.
In a world hungry for goodness, with a splash of golden terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Make a lunch hour a happy hour. Change no thanks into yes please. Provide care when our nearest and dearest needs it most. And resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty, nourishing family meals is all that matters. The world needs moms, because where there are moms, there is hope, happiness, and love. Golden Terra Oil, or pure love.
Vida White Card. I'm your big fan too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, brother.
And I'm chilling with my main guy, Vida.
Alpha, network problem.
Yes, Ogami.
Let me turn on my hotspot.
It off connected.
See, when you're on 9 confirmed from 9 Mobile, you get a super gift of 1,000 naira just for joining the network. 900% bonus on every recharge. 100% data bonus for 6 months and double data bonus on your first recharge of the month.
Get a new SIM or dial star 1400 hash now.
9 Mobile.
TerraQ, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Okay then, welcome back. We were talking about soaring food prices, and the NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics, says inflation in Nigeria has gotten to a dizzying level of 27.33%. Paul, you are building up to something.
Yeah, I think what we actually need are initiatives and innovations to boost food production. I remember during the administration of Ambode, there was this collaboration between Lagos State and Kebbi State. You had what they call lake rice, and a bag of lake rice was selling far less than what the
popular
brand was selling, and it was even purer and better. But suddenly, after Ambode left, it disappeared. You know.
No, but I hear. Well, have you heard it? I hear locally produced rice is here, but they have bagged the rice in Oyibo containers, or Oyibo bags rather. Have you heard that?
No, maybe I haven't heard that. But the truth of the matter is that even locally produced rice, we are not producing enough, and it's more expensive than the imported one now. That's the truth. So we need to boost agricultural production. I know the president said certain things about it, but let's do something very proactive. See, the man in the street is not bothered about new clothes. It's not bothered about luxuries. He just wants to eat. And that's the most basic necessity of a man. Once you eat, you can think of other things. But when it's now becoming difficult to eat, talk about breakfast the other time. There are families who can't afford breakfast. It has come to that point. So we need to take this very, very seriously. Let's boost food production.
Yeah, Wale, quickly. I know our big men of God from the pulpit and the member can return people to the farm.
They can. And that's why the government needs to work with faith-based organizations, because they have a lot of influence on their members. You know, because we can't just be converting every available space to worship centers. You know, we can't feed on prayers.
Yeah.
Even, the Holy Book says that faith is the substance of things not seen, the evidence of things hoped for. And you cannot just feed on faith. You have to walk and pray. It says, pray but watch. So we cannot just, people need to work. They need to go into production.
Yeah.
They need to go into improving the economy.
Let me stop you there, but not before telling you, Wale and Paul, prayer, no, they stop hunger.
It will never.
They stop.
You have to work hard.
Okay, to our next story. A strike is not about being extreme. It is more about being effective. In our country, industrial actions have become impulsive with the aim of getting the government to shape up. They have become messy and not designed to bring about real change. Well, it is now news that the Nigeria Labour Congress, the NLC, and its partner, Trade Union Congress, TUC, have suspended the nationwide nationwide indefinite strike they embarked upon in protest against the brutalization of the NLC President Joe Ajaero in Imo State on November the 1st. I hear the next thing is further negotiations. Paul, but may I, talking about negotiations, may I recall what the late President J.F. Kennedy said at the height of that missile crisis with Russia? We must not fear to negotiate. What we won't do is negotiate out of fear. It's relevant here.
But the question I'm even asking is, what are they negotiating?
The way forward.
The way forward.
Yeah.
What's the way forward? The truth of see, when Labour went on strike over government's alleged insensitivity to the plight of workers and all of that, so we all understood what was the reason, what was exactly the point the organized labor tried to make with this strike. That their leader was manhandled by some thugs, probably in cahoots with security agents.
Yeah.
And because of that, the whole nation must suffer. So,
but that's not some. We don't tolerate that. We don't tolerate.
Yes, yes. So, I think the NLC is just making a mockery of strike. And if you look at this latest strike, it was not fully complied with nationwide. In fact, Imo State workers, where Ajaero hails from, where his attack ensued, did not go on strike. In fact, they went to visit the governor. No, what does that? It means that the House of Labour is not even in order. Yes, thank God they've called off the strike. The truth is that Labour shouldn't just keep recurring to going on strike for every flimsy reason. For example, much as condemnable as what I want to say, as condemnable as the attack on Ajaero is, he shouldn't have called for a strike. What I expect him to have done, for example, is if he felt the authorities were, or the agencies, the security agencies or law enforcement agencies were not doing what they should do, he could go to courts and get an order compelling the police to investigate and prosecute those people. You don't have to hold a whole nation to ransom because you were beaten. The beating is regrettable. Nobody supports it. That's thuggery, that's savagery. But you can't say that. Okay, it's just like, for example, now, it's like maybe if a journalist was beaten and then all journalists say, look, we will not...
we're downing tools.
We're downing tools, you understand what I'm saying? The NUJ says no. Or maybe NPN and what do you call the other? And the
NUA, yeah.
Yeah, and says, look, we're not printing again. Newspapers will not come out because until...
something is done.
Something is done. It doesn't make sense.
Wale, imagine if the NLC had called Nigerians out on strike when the CBN was messing with us in the area of currency exchange and
yes,
all that.
I think that would have been a very popular nationwide strike. But probably at that time they also felt that may affect the election, because at that time we were looking towards the exit of a new government coming in. I think we have all here condemned the attack on the NSC president, because he was not attacked as Joe Ajaero. He was attacked as the symbol of authority of Nigerian workers. And
sorry, a little pause. Kelechi has joined us from Lagos. Kelechi, welcome. Good evening. Yeah.
Good evening, journalist Hangout.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, my name is Kelechi.
Go on.
Hello?
Go on.
Okay, please, Uncle Citizens, I want to ask, I want to start by asking, why is it difficult to get through to journalist Hangout?
But you are here, Kelechi, you are here now. Go on, go on. It's not difficult, that difficult. That's
too many people are trying to reach us, so.
Kelechi, are you done? It's not that difficult.
Too many people are trying to...
Well, okay. Understandably so. All right, I hear we must go on another break, a commercial break. We should be back. Please bear with us, please.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to officially welcome you to the grand launch of this wonderful initiative celebrating the completion of the first 2,000 vehicles assembled here in Ogba.
To the glory of God and to the benefit of mankind, I now officially commission the 2,000 car itself, number 2,000, built by GSC in conjunction with the Lagos State government as partners.
Our story began with the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between CIG Motor Company Limited and Lagos State government sometime in September 2020 at the peak of COVID-19 pandemic. Once it was signed, my team and I strived for just one thing: deliver on the objective of the partnership.
You know that China and Nigeria are very important strategic partner, and during the past years, we are confident in the future of automobile industry.
Let us challenge you here now that 2,000 is just a small feat. The 5,000 and the 10,000 you promised me, go out there and get it done. We don't need Tokumbo vehicles. We need tier-rubber brand new vehicles in our country. And you can see, even from this place, that it is happening. Diana, thank you very much for showing the way. Hopefully many others will follow soon. I want to thank all of the banks that have also supported them. Let us reduce, our pressure on foreign currency so that indeed our kids, our youth, our young children, our young graduates can have a means of employment. Thank you very much for listening.
So here's the thing. Why do you do what you do? Is it because it's what you want to do? Or it's what other people expect you to do? The most important thing is to take a step every day in the direction of where you want to be. It means you're not where you want to be, but you're on the way there. Take your own bold steps with 9 Mobile.
Dial *301# to choose a data plan that works for you.
9 Mobile.
All right, folks, we still are talking about the NLC TUC suspended strike. Wale.
Yeah, so I think that attack was quite wrong. It shouldn't have happened to any ordinary person, not to talk of the symbol of authority of Nigerian workers. And I'm happy that a lot of government officials, have condemned and the National Security Advisor also said that, they will investigate and then bring to book, and we want to see this happen. However, I think there are still some fundamental issues on the ground that labor is, engaging the government on, especially on palliatives, on minimum wage, on the socio-economic, realities in Nigeria. And I think there is sympathy for some of these demands when you look at what Nigerians are going through, and coming at a time that each member of the House of Rep, is to National Assembly, 160 million naira, to buy vehicles.
Is that thing true?
Yeah, they have not denied. They have only said it's for official work.
They've even defended it.
Yeah,
and they defended it.
Don't query me for.
Yeah. So and you see, if you tabulate this money, it's about 75 billion naira for all of them, senators and a professor will work for. A friend of mine is a professor. He told me he earns 430,000 naira. He needs to work for 30 years to be able to get about 251 million naira. Somebody is going to get
without spending a copy.
And some of these people in the National Assembly are spent three times. So it means that every 4 years.
They change their cars.
I'm happy that the presidency on the yacht issue, came out and said, look, this thing was budgeted before us, and then take this fund to students' loan. Those are the kind of things that we expect. So if people are now demanding for wage increase, how much is ASU asking for? So if they are demanding for, it's a popular demand. But I also think there is sensibility of Nigerians, that Nigerians are very wise people. Even when they are not educated, they have wisdom. Many of them are looking at, look, this government is new. Inherited systemic problems from 1999, if not from 1914. And that, look, we need to be a little bit patient. That's the kind of thing I read, across the country, that let's, give this government a little bit of time, and I hope the government will make use of this window of opportunity to address a lot of fundamental issues. I know they cannot solve the problem at once.
Yeah.
You can't, even if we bring, in fact, let's say Papa Awolowo now, the problems are just too many. Inherited debt, we are servicing debt with almost 90%. I doubt if the president sleeps. Every day you read the tweet, meeting one group or the other, going to Saudi Arabia to get funds and all that. So I believe there are efforts being made. But the government needs to speed up so that they can address the yearnings of Nigerians. And I think a lot of people still have confidence that, look, let's give them some time. That's why you see that the labor crisis, strike may not have, received the attention that was accepted.
Okay, we have a voice reaching us from Newi. The name is Uche. Uche, I greet you. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening, the citizens, John.
I greet you, sir.
And good evening, my brothers in the studio.
Good evening.
Yeah, the young man from the right, if I'm not mistaken, is saying they beat Ajero. They beat Ajero. No, Ajero is the president of NLC. It's like the president of a country. So if you beat a president, it's just like you now. It's like our president, President Bola Tinubu, went to Anambra or Ekiti, and you beat him up, and you say you just beat Tinubu. No, he's a symbol of authority. No matter your reasons, you can't beat him.
Okay, that's a very expensive joke. That's an expensive joke. Expecting.
But you beat a symbol of an authority. Please, let us get it right. And if the NLC did not go on this strike, you must agree with me that tomorrow it will still happen. So the NLC, the National Security Advisor, did the right thing.
Uche, we got you first time. But quickly, let's even go there. Let's go there. The NLC must show Nigerians that it is more than going on strike.
Exactly.
There should be more creative ways of facing it.
I agree. No, strike is actually a very good weapon in the hand of the labor. Let's not make mistake about that.
Paul, we are becoming a strike-weary country.
Exactly. Now, the last strike, the one before this one, was very sensible. Put government on its toes. What I expect the labor, organized labor, to do is to put pressure on government to expedite action. Let's not pretend. Let's not play the ostrich here. Things are hard for people.
Yeah.
Every one of us. You just talk about the loaf of bread.
1,000
naira. I mean, I won't go. The bread seller will not say it because it's me. Now sell it for 500 naira. I'm also going to buy it for that amount. But that's the truth. But it is not for every flimsy reason you go on strike. But this gentleman, I found his comment reasonable. So it's a symbol of authority. Okay, so because some people beat him, was it Nigeria that beat him? Was it all the workers in Nigeria that beat him? So, I mean, when people talk like this, you wonder whether they understand the issues. Nobody is saying that he should have been beaten, that it was right. The people who beat him must be brought to book.
Must be punished.
Must be punished. They must be punished.
Yeah.
Yes, but don't cheapen strike. We have seen signs that there are cracks in the camp of labor because not everybody followed them this time around.
Like an Aluta man, and you are not.
No, it's the truth. Let's
we must go. We must go. But thank you. Adewale Adeoye, many thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Not forgetting Paul Dada. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Many thanks. Okay, so we are done. That's it on the program for today. If you missed any part of this program, join us later tonight at 11 o'clock for our repeat broadcast. Of course, you know that on Sunday we expand the field for you from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Hussein on behalf of the Backroom Boys saying bye-bye for now.